Hello, crew.
Hello.
It's in space right
now. Can you hear this?
Yes.
Cool. We're automatically recording, so we're good. How are your pieces coming?
Well.
Yeah? Good. The structure is clear now. I feel like once I have my 2 sections or 3 sections, I feel like I have my whole vision complete, and then I'm just filling in the gaps.
Eric, you're still Randall.
I am. And I'm proud of it.
You don't look very much like him.
Don't be rude.
I believe everyone in the world would kill to look like Randall.
I think you're right.
Probably close.
I think we should all change our Zoom name to Randall Davidson. So by the time he gets in here, he'll be like, what's going on?
You know the only person that won't?
He's coming in right now. Everybody do it. He's about to get in here. Oh, there we go.
Done. I can get I think there's a photo of him on the website. I can get that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I'll do that too.
I could upload the photo of him with the cat on his head.
That would work too.
Here?
All right. I'm going to get going here. And I'm going to start.
Hey, Eric, why are you Randall Davidson?
I know. I'm the only one. I don't know.
Oh, wait. Oh, okay. I get it.
Eric?
Oh, okay.
Randall.
Could you remind a couple of people that they haven't answered yet? And a couple of people who have answered didn't give me their email, so I don't know who they are. And there was something else.
We are still waiting for some responses from the survey.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Who hasn't filled out the survey, or who hasn't received the email?
I can tell you who has not responded to the survey.
Okay.
Very Awesome Music. Who's that? At gmail.com. So they're not here yet. Chewbacca. Becca has not. And Geo Joe.
I did send a response. Do I need to do it again?
Oh, well, here's what I have. 2 people who responded and didn't tell me what their email address was. So I went like, it could be, this could be Chewbacca. Maybe it's not. Let me look at the responses here, and you'll tell me, are you using Bob Adney or Louise Byron?
Louisa Byron?
There you go. And you use Logic Pro X? Is that right, Becca?
Yes.
Yes, that's right.
And then you like most of all theory sessions?
Yes, that is true.
Wow, that's amazing. Okay. And it's Chewbacca something. I can't remember what it. Okay, that's your email. And who is using Bob Adney alone and is using GarageBand and the stuff that happens before we can figure out how to use Zoom? Their favorite part of the camp so far. Does anybody want to claim that?
I think that's me.
Who's that?
Josiah.
Okay. I believe it is. And that's also one of the people I don't know yet. Just responded. Because you didn't give us your email, so I was guessing.
Oh, I can do that.
No, I've got it. I've got it. I've just done it. Who has responded and waiting for responses? Landon, Eric. Barry Awesome. Who is Barry Awesome? And Geo Joe, Josiah, we got you. So I'm looking for Barry Awesome, Berry, awesome at gmail.com. Don't know. That's the only one we don't know yet, and who did not respond yet. Thank you, Eric.
Yes.
Don't forget to remind people. Oh, there he is. Don't forget to remind people about tomorrow morning at 9, and the deadline for sending scores is 7 o'clock today.
Okay, if you are using HARP, I have to close the chat. This is too ridiculous. If you are using Mariah, who's playing harp in your piece, we are having a masterclass tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Is that going to be in the schedule, Randall?
It's already there.
Okay, so you need to send a PDF of your score for her to look at tonight by 7 p.m.?
Yep, 7 o'clock is when you need to send it.
So if you're using HARP,
before 7 o'clock. Don't wait until 7.
that's the
before 7.
latest. Yes,
Yeah.
send it ASAP if you have it.
And the note I sent out to people had 2 emails. Send a copy of both to both of those emails. So it's just not to Mariah, also to JC COI's email address. That'd be helpful.
Yes.
I have a
Great.
question about the scores.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I was wondering if I could send you guys the scores and get like a raw recording back to a metronome, if that's possible, like once you record it, because I don't know, I kind of wanted to work that into my track in my DAW.
Yeah, that's actually the plan.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you how to do that.
That's exactly why we're here right now.
Okay.
I'm going to show you. Basically, what I'm going to show you today is I'm going to show you some basic tools that I use in my DAW to just make things sound a little nicer when I'm editing and recording. And then I'll show you how to share your files with the performer who's going to record. And then how to send them the files and how to receive them and put them back in your DAW. So I'm going to start the screen sharing. Here we go. All right, here we are. So let me know if you can hear this. Yes?
Yep.
Great. Okay. So this is an extension of what we have done. I'm in Logic right now, if people haven't seen this. I think Randall is just getting the joke. I can't even see this. Okay. All right. You're all hid. Okay. So this is an extension.
Hello there, Randall Davidson.
Okay.
Hi.
Okay. So this is an extension. This is Logic. This is an extension of what we've been doing in my theory class. They helped me write the song. The campers helped me figure out the song. We worked on a drum beat together. And this is what we have so far. So I'm going to play it for you. Hey, never seen the world from here. There's nothing to say. Only gotta keep you near. But then you slipped away. Joan had a daughter, treat her like a brother. Joan had a sister, never thought of his life. Joan, once I saw you, loved you like no other. So that's what we got so far. I'm going to tell you a couple commandments, okay? So I'm going to turn all this stuff up. Tell me what you see. Tell me what you notice when I press play that's bad. Something really bad is happening right now.
You're clipping.
I'm clipping. Who said that? Can you detail what that means?
Clipping is where your sound goes over a certain loudness, basically.
Yep.
And that it starts deteriorating, and it starts getting all weird and gross, and it's pretty hard to fix if you don't fix it right now.
Exactly. Okay, so that's Randall Davidson, right? Right now? Okay.
Yeah, that's right now.
So if you look over here, this is, and there are different DAWs are going to have it, but you have a stereo out, like a master fader, and it's what all the instruments are running through. And if you see it get up to this red, and it'll make an alarm go off. It's like, whoa, this is bad. What are you doing? What are you doing? You need to take everything and turn it down till it gets to a point where, like, that's pretty good. Keep an eye on that, because if you ever get your master fader to a point where it's like peaking out, distorting, glitching, you're going to get a distorted file, a distorted recording, and you're actually going to miss a lot of what you're supposed to hear. Okay. So what else? So I wanted to get that out there. And same thing when you are recording in a microphone, almost the exact same idea. I'm going to create a audio file here. So right now I'm talking in the microphone. I'm going to actually stop screen sharing for a second. And how do I make, okay, so this is a microphone here, right? This is our best friend. When you sing, it might, or when you record an instrument, it might sound good when you are all the way up like this. It might like, ooh, yeah, this is nice. It's like really full. It feels good in my voice and stuff. Do not do that. It's bad. It's really bad. And in fact, once you record something like this and you're like, ooh, it sounds good by itself, if you've already recorded it, then you can't undo it. So when you record something with a microphone, just make sure that you are like 8 inches away, 6 inches away, just like a decent, the mic will pick up everything. Just make sure you're not up super close. And same thing, go ahead, let me screen share. Same thing when so you have your master fader over here. If I'm up on the microphone like this, I don't want to do it, but if I get like really loud, it's going to distort. So make sure when you record, you keep it at that same kind of volume, this like middle green kind of volume. That's a good volume to have it at. And then the other commandment is make sure before you record audio, make sure that you have your tempo set. Because if you start recording audio and you don't have your tempo where you want it to be at, and then you're like, oh, actually, I want the tempo to be a little different, you're out of luck. You might be able to change it a little bit. You might be able to change it a lot, but it's going to start distorting and stretching that audio. If you're recording MIDI, you're in luck. You can change the tempo all you want because that information's super flexible. If you record audio before you know exactly what you want your tempo to be, you're going to have to record it again, unless you want it to just not sound as good. So those are the commandments. Keep an eye on your, yes.
Eric, what's true is that we won't be able to record it again. If whatever you give to the acoustic performers on Saturday is that if it's the wrong tempo, that's going to be the tempo.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Very good point. So make sure you have that right.
What about time stretching?
You can time stretch but that distorts the audio. So some stuff, like it is possible. And there's like some flexible, like Speed is a thing where you can change the tempo up and down, but you're just not going to get the pure audio that you may want. So first commandment, keep an eye on your master fader or your stereo out that everything's running through, and make sure you keep it at a good level. Same thing when you're recording to a microphone, make sure you're keeping it at a good level where you want it up to the green, maybe a little yellow, but don't have it go up to the red. And then the third commandment is make sure you know what your tempo is before you record audio. Okay. So now I'm going to show you a couple.
I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, just what I've heard, or what I thought at first was that you can speed recordings up, but you can't slow them down, because if you speed them up, that's just making them faster. It's not going to stretch them at all. It's just squishing them, which you're not losing any detail there. The detail.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I don't know if it increases or not, but what I've heard is that speeding things up, like
you don't lose
you can
quality.
Do that easier than slowing them down.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that is true. You're still gonna create an audio file that sounds different than if you would have played to a correct tempo. And then, you know, like all these time stretching things are possible, but I'm just letting you know, if you really just want things to sound their best, their purest, because it's easy to manipulate pure audio, but once you start stretching and squishing, you're going to have something it's going to start sounding pretty weird pretty fast. I'll just say that.
Yeah, I usually just time stretch for vocals, like acapellas and stuff, but
yeah. And it's a cool effect. Like, and you can make the most glitchy affected sounds you want. It doesn't matter. Like, that's cool if you want it to be that way. But if you want like a pure sound, especially with someone who's playing trumpet and they're in a symphony, you probably want to capture good audio. Okay, so I'm going to show you a couple things that I do, and these might apply mostly to songs more than compositions, but I'm going to show you some things anyway. So here I have this vocal here. Yeah, but then you slipped away, Jonah. So here's the chorus right here. I'm going to duplicate this track. I might have to flatten this. Whoops. Yeah, wait. I'm gonna copy, or I'm gonna cut this, and I'm gonna move it down here, because this is the verse, and I want this to be its own separate thing, and now I'm gonna have a chorus, and I wanna double this. Doubling instruments is a really good way to create a nice stereo effect with any instruments. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this panning feature here, and I'm going to move it into my left ear. Panning, I'll show you what panning does. If you have headphones, it's probably more clear. I can move it into my left ear. I can move it into my right ear. This is it's handy for mixing and volume and all that stuff, but it's really handy for recording too, because I want to double this. I want to be able to hear it, but I don't want to only hear it. So I'm going to put it in my left ear, and then I'm going to record enable this one so I can listen to it and kind of follow along with it. But then you slipped away, let me get the lyrics right. Hold on. Where are they? They're there. But then you slipped away, Joan had a daughter, treated her like a brother. Joan had a sister, never gonna miss her. Joan, once I saw you, loved you like no other, now you're gone. Yeah. And that's all I want. I just want that little part to be doubled. So I'm going to go back here. I'm going to move that back up into the normal kind of thing. I'm going to call this left Vokes. And then I'm going to call this right Vokes. One really handy tool when you start working with tracks, always be renaming what your track is called. It's really easy to get lost in 20 different tracks and they're all the same color. They're all like blue and they all have the same icon and they're just like audio 1, audio 8, audio 10, audio 100. Change it so you know what it is. I could say left Vokes chorus, right Vokes chorus. Just write something so it's a label for you to remember what's actually happening. So I'm going to solo this left Vokes and I'm going to solo this right Vokes and I'm going to kind of blend them together. Slipped away. Let me get rid of that. Joan had a daughter, treated her like a brother. Joan had a sister, never thought I'd miss her. Joan, once I saw you, loved you like no other. Now you're gone. Yeah. So that's what doubling does. It still sounds mostly the same, but it just creates this effect it just feels a lot bigger than it was before. So I'm going to start here and then you can kind of hear how it builds into it. Only gotta keep you near, but then you slipped away. Joan had a daughter, treated her like a brother. Joan had... And if I wanted to do something like this, like some people will add like a chorus effect to just like a single vocal track, or they'll copy and paste the exact same vocal track. Doubling only works if it's a little different, because if it's identical, it'll just sound like the exact same thing. Or, I mean, some people do this too. I think it's kind of silly, but I'll show you. They'll like copy and paste one and then nudge it just a little bit off. So they're pretty close, but they're a little different. I don't know why I'm showing you this, because I'm showing you what not to do. So it sort of has the same impact, but it just sounds way worse than. Just kind of sounds like phasey or something.
Hey, Eric?
Yeah.
Back in the days, and I mean 70s and 80s, bands would have a string arrangement. They would hire one player per part, one violin, one viola, one cello, and they'd want to have a full orchestra. Back in the day when there was pop music, they had orchestras. Yeah. And they would have us play with ourselves multiple times. It was called sweetening, was the process. Is that the process that you're describing when you put down another vocals?
Yeah, that's exactly it. That's exactly it. It just it's like the same thing when you hear a string quartet versus hearing a string orchestra. There's more different frequencies. You're hearing some mistakes almost, and that kind of contributes to the fact that no one is playing perfectly together is what kind of creates this more lush sound. It sounds really nice.
And this will also work if you have a string pad, and you just want to make it sound real.
Ooh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this.
Okay, good.
I'm going to do this. Okay. So, but yes. Okay. So let me see. So that's what doubling is. I was going to do this with acoustic guitar, but let's just move on because you kind of get the idea. Like if you have like a violin and you want to make it sound bigger and more full, just record a bunch of them and then kind of pan them out. Put them in the left ear, the right ear, figure out the volumes. Let me see.
So what all of this are we expected to do, or what is somebody going to?
The only thing you're expected to do is what I'm about to show you right now. I'm just showing you like I'm going to show you what you need to know right now And then I'm going to show you some extra stuff at the end. So this beginning part was sort of extra stuff if you want to know like some cool things like doubling. And now I'm going to show you how to send your tracks to someone, okay? So here we have our whole song right now. We have our tempo, we have our meter, we have our vocals, we have our strings. I have this one string part called strings replace. That is I want a performer to play this part, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bounce, which is the term for exporting my whole file into an MP3. And I'm going to mute the one thing I want to be replaced, okay? Muted. So now when we listen to it, there's a particular string part we're not hearing. And I'm gonna grab, this is called a cycle. Logic and GarageBand have this, and Cakewalk has this. I'm gonna grab a little more than I actually need, and it's gonna bounce or export this whole area. If you don't have this cycle feature, you can just keep track of what measure numbers you want exported, because you're gonna go to an export scene and you're gonna type in this information. So actually I'll do that just so you know. So what I wanna do, instead of giving them this, I don't want them to have it right on the downbeat. I wanna give them a little lead time so they can kind of get into it a little bit, okay? So I'm gonna start at measure 2, and I'm gonna go until measure 26, let's say. I'm gonna go up here. I'm going to bounce. And I'm going to, you can choose, I would say you can choose either MP3 or WAV. Stick to MP3s or WAVs. They're like the PDFs of sound files. WAVs are a little bigger, a little higher quality. I'm an MP3 person because who has the time? Nobody cares. That's my opinion. You might care. You might really, really care about having like lossless stuff. I don't know. I just don't really care. And you'll save all this space. So MP3, I'm going to start the bounce at, I think that this is the measure number. Let me see. No, the beginning is the measure number. So I want to go from 2 to 26. 2, and then I think it goes measure, beat, and then it's like even smaller increments. So 2 to 26, and you can choose some other things. I'm going to bounce it offline, which means it'll just do it as fast as it can. And MP3, there we go. Here we go. And it's going to ask me where I want to save it. I'm just going to save it on my desktop and make this thing way less big.
Eric, could you save this on the COI Google Drive?
Do you want me to do that right now?
I certainly do. Because that's where we're going to want those tracks to be sent to eventually. So giving a demonstration would be really helpful.
I think you might have to tell me how to do that. But well, here's the thing. What I will do right now is I'll just put it on my desktop so I know what it is. And then I'm going to email it. That's what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to put it on my desktop first. How should I label this, Randall?
The protocol is COI, Composers Online Institute, dot, then a description of the file, what it is, then dot, your name.
.Eric Radloff.
Yep.
Now, what other important information should I put in here? I should put in the tempo, or at least the starting tempo. So I'm going to write 99 BPM. So I'm going to bounce it. There it goes. Now I've bounced everything but the thing that I want. Now I'm going to solo the thing that I want. and I'm going to do the exact same process. So MP3 to 26 offline, Joan with strings, Eric Radloff, 99 beats per minute, bounce. Oh no, I might have done the thing that's bad. We'll find out. One thing that I've done a few times is I'll bounce something and I'll accidentally leave the metronome in it. So you just hear the metronome all throughout, which could be okay. But, okay, let's see. Here's that first file and here's that second file. And I'm going to put it in a folder called Joan, COI, Eric Radloff, 99 beats per minute. Also, I don't know why it's called Joan. It's like the first word I said, so it doesn't mean anything. All right, let's listen to how this sounds.
So can I ask a question about that metronome thing? I've had that problem before too, but sometimes it doesn't do it even when I leave the metronome on. Like it won't, even if I forget to turn off the metronome, it won't put it in the file.
I have yet to figure it out too. I don't know when it chooses to do or not do it.
Okay.
Okay, so this is our first file. Make sure you listen to the file to make sure it bounced the way you want it to, okay? So it's 1 minute and 1 second long. That's good. Then we have the separate one. It's the exact same length. It should be the exact same length when you bounce these files, okay? So it should be empty because that's what it is. All right, there we go. We have our files. So now what I'm going to do, Randall, if it's okay with you, I'm just going to email it to myself and show how I'm going to download it. And then maybe we'll do the Google Drive thing at the end.
Okay.
If that's okay.
Okay.
All right. So I'm going to take this folder, and since I'm going to email it, I'm actually going to compress it. Okay. This is going to save space. It's going to save time. People are going to think, wow, what a wizard. They knew to compress the file. So now I'm going to go into my thingy. And I'm going to email this to a mysterious person.
You know, if Randall has a Mac, you can just hit the share button and share the file with him and it'll appear on his desktop, right?
That's true, I guess, but not everyone has a Mac, and therefore we should show a method that works for everybody. So here we go. Yep. I'm going to click and drag this into my email, and it's not a very big file. Okay, so I'm going to send it to this really awesome violin player. Hey, look, I have a new thing to download. This is what the person will receive. I mean, they might get it from a Google Drive or whatever, but they'll download it. And actually, I'm going to go into this and exit out. So it's like I'm a whole brand new person right now. I have never seen this song. I have no idea what this is. I'm going to download it.
Could you open it up in Google Drive?
Could I open it?
It gave you two choices.
Well, a compressed file actually can't, it's like a zipped file.
Yeah.
But you can download it from Google Drive and then open it.
I'm pretty sure you can upload it to Google Drive. If you see the button in the top right there that has the Google Drive logo, click that adds it to your drive.
Okay. I haven't prepared for this, so I will just do what I'm planning on doing, and then we will go through that step at the end. Okay.
Okay.
So here we are. This is what I've downloaded. I'm gonna open it up. I see these two MP3 files, And it says, okay, Joan without strings, Joan with strings. This person wants me to record strings. It's at 99 beats per minute. Okay, I'm gonna open up a blank logic file or whatever my DAW of choice is. So I'm gonna create an empty project. I'm gonna start out totally blank. And what is the first thing I should do before I record right now? What should I do? Before I even drag in any of the files, what should I do?
Set your tempo.
BPM.
Set my BPM. This is very important. And this is what we'll write something for all the performers to know this. They should set their tempo before they import their files. So I'm gonna go up here, 99 beats per minute. And then the way that Macs work, and I think most, like Cakewalk will do this, I know. FL Studio probably does this. Just click, bring this stuff in here and just drop it in. I'll create new tracks. Okay, so here we have our stuff. I'm gonna listen to it and see how it sounds. Hey, let me make sure the click lines up. It does. We're good. Whoa, what was that, right? So here's the smart thing about sending these two separate versions, because you have the stuff that's already done that the recorder's not going to perform on, and then you have this other track that they are going to replace. This is what they're going to play. So what they can do, and obviously what I'm going to play right now is extremely simple, but I can listen to this and I can just turn this up and I can maybe put it in my right ear and just like focus on like how it fits in. Maybe solo it and like see where it changes. Okay. Okay, so I've now absorbed the information that I'm going to replace. Presumably a score was also sent to me where I'll be able to read along with what it's going to be or what it is. Now, this is probably going to be a surprise to everybody here, but I have a violin and I'm very bad at it. And I'm going to show you how bad I am.
I saw it on your couch and I was afraid. I was very afraid.
Well, guess what I use? I use open strings.
Is this from high school? This is from high school when you played violin?
No, this is from Christmas 2 years ago.
Okay.
When I asked for a violin. For this very, for this, huh?
It was tuned at the shop, right?
Factory tuned. Factory tuned.
No. No. So don't worry, this won't be too painful. I prepared an exit strategy in case this goes horribly, horribly wrong. But I'm going to record over this right now, and I'm going to do the same thing I did when I was doubling. This is how I would do it. I'm going to do the same thing I did when I was doubling, where I have the thing I'm doubling in my left ear, and what I'm playing will be a little louder and maybe in my right ear. So let me make sure.
You're gonna tell us what the exit strategy is after you're done, right? If it doesn't go horribly.
Oh, please. Open strings. It's okay. See, that's not horrible. Get over it. Okay, so now this is what's so nice about what I'm going to show you. I'm not a good violin player at all, but even though I'm not that good, what a real instrument can do, even if you're kind of faking along with it, is you can blend it, and I'll show you how to do that. I'm going to decline this request. Or should I? Was that actually Randall Davidson who requested?
I did not make a request for anything. The
Okay.
real Randall Davidson did not say a thing.
Okay, good. Okay, so I prepared, presumably they would have wanted me to record this a couple more times. So I'm gonna click and drag that in here. Whoops. Okay, so here I have all my string files.
Could you tell us what a stem is?
A stem is just like a single track. Like it's if you went on MuseScore or whatever notation software and you exported all of your instruments as separate audio files, each of those audio files is a stem. So actually, and that's actually what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to export all the individual audio files that I've recorded here as stems, and I'm going to name them properly. I'll show you. So here I'm going to make sure these sound okay. Okay, and now I'm going to do the exact same thing that I did before. I'm going to solo all of my different instruments, or solo each instrument one at a time, and I'm going to bounce it right on back to the composer that I'm playing it for. Joan, I guess this will be COI, Joan string 1 dot player dot 99 BPM. And I'm going to do that. So here's the first one.
Bounce it if it's already an audio file.
Because I want it to be a specific length. This is actually really important. I want them to be able to import the MIDI, or not the MIDI, import the audio right into their audio file. So what I'm doing here is I am bouncing it from the exact starting location of what they sent me. If I just sent them an audio file that's just kind of like floating somewhere, when the composer imports it into their DAW, they're gonna have to like click and drag it around and figure out, where does this actually line up? Is this supposed to go at the beginning? Is this supposed to go here? And that's way too much work. So you stave or push back all that work by making sure you line up where you're exporting your stems from to line up exactly with where their track started.
So when you tell your
I will tell them
players, you tell them the measure numbers as well.
Tell them the measure numbers
that you bounced from.
What I would say is I started 2 measures before the downbeat of the whole piece, or I started 1 measure before the downbeat of the whole piece. That's where the audio begins. And you don't need to do anything more than that. You just need to give 1 or 2 measures of lead-in time. And when they send you back their audio files, I mean, that's what's interesting. When I'm bouncing these audio files, it's mostly empty space, right? Like it's a minute long, but 30 seconds is totally quiet. That is how it should be, because then they know, they can visually see where they should lock in. So I'm going to keep doing this. Joan.
Okay.
What? Does that make sense?
That whole process.
Huh?
That makes sense, that whole process.
Cool. And I mean, some people will probably mess it up. I mess it up sometimes, and it's okay. But in this situation, if you don't do that, it might lead to some real confusion. Okay, so here I have now bounced all of my audio files, and they should all be right here. Jones string 3, Jones string 1, Jones string 2, COI Jones strings player. That's the name of the performer, we'll say. And I'm going to put them all in here. Randall, maybe this is a good time to show me how to upload to Google Drive.
It'll be slightly different.
Come again? I think you're muted.
Let me get set up here so I can show. Hold on.
Sure. Does this process make sense so far? Okay. I know it's a lot to take in.
Hey, Eric, can I ask one question just for clarification?
Sure.
So when you send it to your performers, they're recording the whole song with the click track, right? It's not just the little snippets of if it, like, say they only have like a measure here, a measure there. Will they just stand there the whole thing and then play when they're supposed to play?
The thing is, they could do it however they want, because as long as they send back an MP3 where they've played sound everywhere they're supposed to be playing sound, like it wouldn't really make sense if we had like a timpani player and they like press start at the beginning and they only have something 5 minutes into the piece, and then they stand there for 5 minutes recording, and then suddenly they're and then they're out. They probably should have just started right there and then played their 10 seconds, and then they can send it away. So it probably just depends on how involved they are in the, and that could be nice to say, like, you only play from this measure. Well, they'll see that in the score, but like maybe this, you enter at about like 30 seconds in the song or in the piece. That way they know where they should start recording. But when they send the file, go ahead, Randall.
If you're only sending your piece to one performer, do you have to record it?
Is it a solo instrument?
Yes.
Then no.
Okay.
This is only for if you have an ensemble.
Thank you.
Yeah, where it needs to line up. That's a really good point. If you're writing for a solo instrument, you do not need to worry about any of this, actually. I am going to see people notice my folder. That folder, it just has some stuff in it. I don't know what to tell you. We're just gonna ignore it. Okay, I'm gonna go back to Randall. Are you still setting up Google Drive?
Yes.
Thank you, Randall. I'm going to just continue on, and maybe we can do the. All right, I actually don't know how to remove this.
I am still working on it. Hold on.
Okay, can we remove the red squares? Thank you. Oh my gosh, this is too much. Okay, so I'm gonna, first I should make sure that I gotta make sure these all make sound. Notice, hey, by the way, notice how they're all still the exact same. This means I'm doing it right. If they all are bounced, exported, and they have the exact same length, that's a really good sign. Okay, bad sounding string 1. Bad sounding string 2. Bad sounding string 3. We're ready to go. Okay, now I'm gonna go back into my, I'm gonna exit out of this. Don't save. What you're gonna do is you're gonna upload this to Google Drive. For now, I'm just gonna, I'm gonna
Can you share it to Google? Can you share it to composersonlineinstitute@gmail.com?
Yeah, I can do that.
That'd be great.
Okay, and make sure, by the way, compressing is really handy. So I'm gonna do that right now. Composers Online Institute at gmail.com. Oops. And this is, I'm going to call it this. All right, let me know if you receive it.
I certainly will.
In the meantime, I'm going to reopen up my original thingy. And so we're going to end. I'm just going to show you how you're going to pull it back in. And then I'm going to show you what you can do with it. Did you receive it?
Okay, here I am. Let's see. I am seeing that you sent, got something from Sarah, got something from Jared, and I'm not seeing anything right this second. Oh, I'm on the wrong email. Here we go. Yes, I have COI.JonesStrings.player.99 BPM.
Cool.
And then I will be able to save that into Google Drive.
Cool. Can you send me the Google Drive link that I can access then too?
Yes. The Google Drive link, sorry. A little bit longer.
I'm never screen sharing again.
What are they doing?
Everything, Randall.
Really?
My life is an open book at this point.
That's funny. Now we have 8 minutes before 4 o'clock. There is stuff going on at 4 o'clock. So I'm trying quickly with a sense of urgency to get this done quickly. And you want me to send you a link to this site? Is that
Yeah,
right?
Because
you mean you want a link to the document
Google,
that's right?
Yeah, because is this how composers are going to re-download their files?
Yes. All right. I'm looking for it right now. Oh, God. It's when I get rushed that I get behind. That is what's going on right now. Sorry about that. Go ahead.
I mean, do you want me to just kind of show?
Please do.
Please, okay.
Please do.
So we're going to assume right now that, well, I guess we'll do this. I'm going to send this to myself. To this mysterious performer, or back to the composer. And then I'm going to download. I'm going to download the strings that they sent me that they recorded. I'm gonna open it up. I got my strings here. And then what I can do is since I asked them politely to just line it up with, when they bounce it, line it up with the beginning of the song, what I should be able to do is just click and drag it in to where the song starts. And then now I should have some strings that actually sound like they should. Let's see.
Hey, Eric, I have a suggestion. I'll do the Google procedure as a Zoom video and share the screen while I'm doing it, and then I'll throw it up on YouTube.
Cool.
Are you sure that you didn't ask them to line it up with the beginning of the recording or the bounce?
That's what I probably did. Not where the sound actually begins, but where the bounce begins.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get this volumized. Where's my... Because these are going to be super loud. All right. Okay, so I have it. I have successfully done this due to very prudent sharing of information. Now what's cool, again, these strings don't sound very good, right? They kind of just sound like a cat scratching at a post. But what I can do is I can pan them around and I can kind of blend them into the original MIDI. And even though I'm a bad violin player, that actually sounds decent just because you have real noise blending with MIDI instruments. And I'll show you what it sounds like without it and what it sounds like when they come in. So that's without, here's with. Sounds pretty good. I'm going to show you a couple tips too, because what sounds really nice with strings. One important thing, I'll make sure that when the the performer sends their recording, they send it totally dry, no effects, because you, the composer, in your DAW, you can add effects. I'm going to show you a really quick one right now. Let's pretend that this is not here. Same with you, and same with you. So who knows what it's called when you create sort of this echoey sound in a DAW? There's like
reverb.
Reverb. Very good.
I thought it was echo.
Echo, I call it reverb. I think it's mostly called reverb, but echo also works.
Delay.
Yes, but echo is the same thing as delay. Echo is different.
Echo is... Oh, echo. Reverb and delay are different. Reverb
yeah, but
and
echo
delay
is the same as delay, right?
Okay, yes, echo is the same as delay. That makes sense. So reverb, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a bus. And what a bus is a little tool that I can route a bunch of instruments into this bus. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send these MIDI strings to, I'm just going to pick one of these things. And it says this up here. This is going to be kind of complex, but I'm going to call this reverb strings. And then I'm going to add an effect onto it, which is my reverb. And I'm going to just pick one. Holy moly. Holy moly, right? And then what I'm going to do, why is it so huge? Oh, my computer's just kind of slow. I'm going to just pick a preset. I want this reverb to sound like a, let's see, a midnight halt. No, let's do something larger. Let's do dark rising hall. That sounds fine. So this is an effect. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to route all of these different things to this reverb string bus. I'm going to show you what this sounds like. So that's with reverb on it, and I'll show you what it sounds like without reverb. That's with reverb. This is without reverb. Still sounds pretty good. This is with. You can kind of hear how it fades away after that. That's what the reverb's doing. And then I'm going to show you one last tool, okay? And then we'll be done here. One thing that's really important when you're mixing your song and you're getting it to sound good is you want to get rid of certain frequencies that are really, that start building up on each other, and they start making things sound really muddy. And most of the time, this is going to be low frequencies. So I'm going to show you this one little thing, and you're going to be like, what the heck? Why is he showing me this? This is called an EQ. Every DAW has a built-in version of these. I'm going to click on it. And what it is, I'm going to solo the electric guitar. So what this is doing is this is showing me a frequency spectrum. The lowest frequency humans can hear is 20 hertz, and the highest is 20,000 hertz. So what I'm able to do with this is I'm able to pick specific frequencies and turn them up or down. So if I want to turn up the high frequencies, I can go like this. If I want to turn up the low ones, I can go like this. Does that make sense? That's kind of the gist of how an equalizer works. And how you kind of use it, and to be honest, I'm sort of just starting to explore how to use these properly. But what you do is you go through and you take out frequencies that you don't want. And most of the time, like, listen, I'll show you what it sounds like, only the low frequencies and only the high frequencies. This is called a low pass filter. It'll start getting rid of high frequencies. Do you hear how there's just like a bunch of gunk here on the bottom?
Mm-hmm.
We don't need that at all. It doesn't sound good in the guitar. And in fact, what it's going to do is it's going to get in the way of low instruments that sound good in that range. So if you use an EQ at all, you do not have to at all. But if you want to start cleaning up your mix a little bit and helping it sound good, once you have your MIDI files and your performer files in there, what you do is you go through and you pull out. This is what a high pass filter does. It only lets the high things come through. Only grab the necessary ones. So that's probably good, something like that. You're not gonna miss those things. And I'll show you what it sounds like just with the bass, drums, and guitar without the EQ. So this is without. And this is with. Without. We don't even really hear it, but the bass is going to be louder because we took out some of those frequencies. Okay, I am done, and we definitely went over time, but this is recorded, so you can check it all out. And I know that this is pretty daunting. There's a lot of information here. I will be doing my theory lesson tomorrow as DAW tips part 2, which will be sort of a question and answer. If you have more questions about what I talked about today, if you have questions about MIDI, it will just sort of be having a conversation about that. But hopefully the main takeaway here is how to send your files to a performer properly and receive them and blend them into your DAW.
And we will put that on YouTube with a Zoom recording. Shows you how we do that, and then you can just follow that. This is going to be really critical as we come to the end. We're spending a lot of time on DAW and on uploading and doing all of the things that the tips that you learned today from Eric are there for you to learn better how to make your recording sound good, the way you want it to sound. Let's see what else, Eric. Tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock, if you want to be in the harp, and I see a lot of you have harp as an instrument. The masterclass starts at 9 o'clock in the morning Central Time. So it'll be 7 in the morning that Eric's going to have to get up and be there for the harp workshop, right?
Oh man.
and you're going to be there tonight?
Yeah, I'll probably be there tonight.
I'll be there a little bit too. And you is going to be there all night from 8 to 9. But most important, this is BYOIC. Is that right, Mary Kate? Yes, it is, Randall. Thank you. Is there a Mary Kate?
Yep.
Yes, there is. So there's bring your own ice cream tonight. And we're going to have, I hope, did you think we're going to have a special guest joining us at the lounge tonight? Mary Kate?
So Frank has a gig tonight, but he said he will be there tomorrow.
Okay, that's good. That'll be awesome. Let's see if there's anything else I can tell you. So Frank Felice is going to be there tomorrow night. Is that right?
Cool.
Okay. You is there tonight. Mary Kate's there tonight. I'll be there, and all of you will have an opportunity to talk to each other. That starts at 8 o'clock tonight. That's the next thing we'll see you at. Thanks a lot.
I would like to personally thank all the Randall Davidsons for their work in the line of being Randall Davidson. So I'd just like to say that we are all collectively one Randall Davidson. So I would like to thank all Randall Davidsons for your service.
I agree. And
one Randall Davidson under God with liberty and justice for all.
We are better together than we are separate. I appreciate that.
Okay.
All 32 of our heads.
Okay.
Yes.
Goodbye, Randall Davidson.
Bye, Randall Davidson.
Bye.
See you later.
Bye, Randall Davidson.
It's all about Seth.
Bye, Randall Davidson.
Bye, Randall Davidson. Bye, Randall Davidson. Bye, Randall Davidson. Bye, Randall Davidson. Bye, Randall Davidson. Bye, Randall Davidson.